Today, I'm joined by an incredible artist, young shy guy. Welcome to the Mike Squires and Friends podcast.
Right now. Hello.
Let's go, dude.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you for coming on, dude. So let me just start off by saying that this is technically the first podcast that is shot in my studio, which is kind of crazy.
Honored.
You guys see a nice white wall. We see a chaotic pile of just
behind the scenes.
That's a good way to describe it, dude. But how would you describe yourself to someone who's never heard of you before?
Describe
you.
Me.
Yeah, like if someone's never heard of Young Shy Guy, how would you be like, he's
It's in the name. I'm a very shy and quiet, kept to myself person. But I am full of love, and all I want to do is spread that around to people.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I kind of get that vibe because I've seen you in passing. I've seen you at events.
Yeah.
And like, we've never really spoke, but you're always sharing smiles, dude. You know what I mean? And like, in like a very positive way.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
We try to keep it positive. There's a lot going on that gets to me personally, and I try not to overthink it. That's where the right now quote comes in. It's not tomorrow. It's not yesterday. Right now.
no, I like that, dude,
You
too.
gotta stay focused in what you're doing right in the moment.
So what are some of the things that bother you that you're talking about?
Abandonedness. I've had a rough childhood. It's been a long. I've also had 5 open heart surgeries. So I've seen a lot at a very young age, and it's kind of made me a man at a young age to an extent.
Yeah,
that makes sense?
What was it like growing up for you?
Growing up was chill. I had a nice, we lived around Norwalk near a hospital area. Nice, quiet neighborhood. I went to school in the area. Good neighborhood friends. I was an outdoors person, always outside, skateboarding, some type of sport, even though I wasn't good at it, but anything to keep me occupied.
Yeah. No, I feel like I was like a big skateboarder as a kid, dude.
Yeah.
I grew out of skateboarding when I realized I wasn't good. And I was just getting hurt too much, dude.
It took a long time to get where I was with that, and got older, had one bad fall, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mike Squires and Friends podcast. You can support by subscribing on YouTube or downloading on your preferred podcast platform. And definitely go do that because it helps us grow and I can have more incredible guests on the podcast. The Mike Squires and Friends podcast is proudly sponsored by DistroKid. Looking to broaden your musical horizons as an artist? Discover DistroKid. With its smooth and rewarding music distribution platform, DistroKid offers unlimited uploads while ensuring artists retain 100% of their royalties and earnings. Join the community of over 1 million artists who trust DistroKid to distribute their music across major platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, and so many others. Having personally used DistroKid since 2018, I can attest to their superiority amongst distribution services. Collaborating with fellow artists has become effortless, especially with the ability to easily send splits of songs, streamlining the creative process. With the DistroKid app, accessing these benefits is now more convenient than ever. Safely sign up or log in with 2-factor authentication, upload releases on the fly, monitor earnings, and withdraw funds from your DistroKid bank. Stay updated on royalties through push notifications, effortlessly share hyperfollow links, manage account details seamlessly, and track streaming stats from Spotify and Apple. Additionally, explore Mixia for professional grade mastering, DistroVid for music video distribution, and Instant Share for secure file sharing with collaborators, producers, and more. The DistroKid app is available on both iOS and Android. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play Store to revolutionize your music career. Visit distrokid.com/VIP/Mike Squires to get 30% off your first year membership. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Mike Squires and Friends. Yeah.
But I've always been in some type of activity around like hobbies like that. Like I started photography and videos off of skateboarding.
Yeah.
That got me into music.
I know that you did some photos for Sammy Adams.
Yes.
How'd you end up connecting with Sammy, dude?
That was through my other best friend, Sam, Half Evil Sam.
Okay, I know Pope Norwalk, dude.
We were, that was kind of like our way of getting back to each other. Like we weren't talking a lot. And then he was like, hey, I have access to Warped Tour. I know you take photos. Would you want to come along? You got backstage access, da-da-da-da-da.
The one in Hartford?
Yes.
That's crazy.
If I'm not mistaken, it might have been like the official last Warped Tour before they were done.
Bro, I went to that too, which is like, that's why I bring it up. Cause like I saw Sammy in passing, but I was there for my homie Watsky, who was also on that tour too. So that's just a crazy weird link, dude. But yeah, no, Sam's the man too, dude. I think we went to NCC together for a little bit. We spoke like here and there, but you know, I know that I mean, I see the hat right now, dude. How'd you end up connecting with Sam and, you know?
Sam hit me up. We knew each other through the skate park.
Okay, cool.
And then I was working at a coffee shop down there. It was called Cafe Moo, I believe. Not there anymore, but so if I wasn't skateboarding, I was working down at the beach. So everyone kind of just came to visit. He hit me up one day, I believe, when he was still doing the I Miss You hats. And he was like, hey, like I need like
I remember they were like
shots.
the text bubble.
Yep.
Okay, I remember, dude. You just like when you said it, it just like my brain was like,
I
miss you
literally
hat, dude.
just found a clothes pin the other night of it in one of my boxes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that was what, 2017, 2018? And then to see him with a different brand now, it's like, wow.
He's been crushing it since way back. What was the brand that he had before Half Evil? I remember. It's like trickling in my mind, dude.
I think that might have been the hat one, the Trius.
It was like, there was one thing before that, though.
He had that, and then he had the Ruthless company.
There you go. That's what I was thinking.
out.
Because when I think of Ruthless, I also think of Rampage Skatepark.
Yep.
Like, those are the two things.
Rampage.
Were you at those events, dude?
Few of them. I remember I went to the one where Fat Nick and Puya were there.
Okay. That's
which
crazy,
was
dude.
right before I think they started getting big and mainstream.
Yeah, dude. What's something that you remember from just like that era of like those Rampage shows or like anything that like stands out in your memory, dude?
Chaos. Good chaos, though. It was a lot of energy under a small building.
Yeah.
And you see it, obviously, but you also feel it. You hear the music. You see the artist reaction that they're getting from the crowd. Makes them want to go crazier. It's just a high energy feeling.
Yeah. Now, at this time, do you consider yourself an artist yet? Are you an artist yet? Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay.
I consider myself an artist.
Yeah. So what was your first, like, how did you get into music?
I got first into music. Well, I mean, originally was through drums.
Okay.
So I was in marching band 7th to 8th grade, playing at like the concerts they had at the school. I did the Memorial Day parade one year. That was fun. It was just a lot carrying a snare drum that whole way. Dude, that was a lot.
You just brought back so I did marching band as like a kid too, and I remember that. Like we took a break to put the snare drum down, and I guess I put it on the stick or a stick or something, and it punctured the bottom of the snare drum, dude. And for the rest of the time, I just rocked it, like
but, all or nothing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Northeast, my bad, dude. But yeah, so when do you start like releasing music?
I started releasing music, I think about 2016, 2017 on SoundCloud.
Okay, cool, man.
I liked SoundCloud. I liked the idea of being like an underground artist, having a bunch of people have to go to one website to find your music. So I kind of tried to build like clientele, like family base through that, which I feel I did pretty good with. A lot of those people still DM me to this day, and that was almost 10 years ago. But I don't know. Ready to release. I've started releasing all platforms this past year, 2024. Been trying to do it since 2021, but I hold a lot of my music back because a lot of it is real, true, and deep stories that I've been to. I kind of just say it in other words to have other people relate to it, but it's a lot of real stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of that I have not fully made amends with myself on, but it's nice to see people can connect and relate and get what I got out of it in their own way.
It's not easy being vulnerable in your own music, dude. You know,
not at all.
You basically have to like, you know, you're dealing with a lot of stuff like personally to you, but you're putting it out there. But what I've learned is that when you do put yourself out there, you'd be surprised at how many people relate to it.
And I've noticed that. I just released a song called LA for the Week. Sad to see what's going on in California right now, but that I've only been there twice, but to me that is my home away from home.
Yeah.
I feel nothing but freedom out there, and I belong.
Why do you think that is?
Warm weather. That's one of them. I was originally born in Florida, so I feel like that's why I'm so adjusted to it. But I don't know, it's something different that you don't see every day.
Yeah.
Me, I don't travel a lot, so just going out there, I have a few friends that I work with out there with music that I finally got to meet in person.
Oh, that's really dope.
And it was just cool. It was like we've always knew each other. It wasn't like our first time meeting, and I like that.
Yeah, so you were born in Florida. How did you end up in Connecticut?
Connecticut. I moved back to Connecticut because of my heart surgeries. So we were in Florida. I think I had surgery maybe like 5 days after I was born. And then we moved back here with my mom and my grandfather.
Yeah.
And then we kind of lived with him and then just been bouncing back and forth ever since.
Would you be comfortable to talk a little bit about the heart surgeries? Yeah. So, what's going on, dude? I guess that would be the question.
I don't know the big words, the terms for it, but I was born without a valve that didn't allow blood to flow through the other side of the heart. So you ever stayed in a pool too long, your fingertips and like your lips turn blue or purple?
Yeah.
I kind of lacked that. I didn't have like enough oxygen. So I've pretty much had 5 open heart surgeries, 5 days after I was born, maybe a month after I was born, 2nd grade, 6th grade. And then my last one, I think, was 2015, 2016.
Okay.
But I went to my yearly checkup last year. They said I'm as healthy as can be.
Well, let's go, dude.
The piece they put in looks new. So we're good.
How does something like that change your perspective on life, though? Because I imagine it would have some impact.
It put me in the dark a lot. As a kid, I honestly, sucks to say, I lost friends over it. They were creeped out. They didn't like how it looked. Not that I always had my shirt off, but a few times you go to a pool. So I always kept my shirt on, but I am more comfortable with it now. I actually show it off. So it's kind of helped me become a better person and like myself more for what I have and what I've been through.
Yeah, and you know what's weird? Like, and I feel this way about kids. I hung out with I was at a Thanksgiving event for like a friend's, Friendsgiving, and they had like their little cousin. Yo, kids are fucking mean, dog. I was like, yo, these kids are roasting me.
The younger generation nowadays, man. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Not a lot to say, but ooh.
But I think the things that like you would get made fun of as a kid end up being the things that make you cool as an adult. You know what I mean?
It's like a recycle thing. Like trends, they die out, but they come back. A lot of the stuff, the black nails, the nails, I got made fun of that. Now everybody does it because it's trending.
Yeah, I remember so I started as like a video guy, and I remember that wasn't the cool thing. Like, cause no one was a video guy. Yeah,
right,
it was like, you're a fucking nerd, dude. But then it's like, at this point it's opened up opportunities for me, and it's like, oh shit, that's cool now. You know what I mean? So I don't know. What would you have to say about that? Where it's like, maybe making like the thing that you basically, I'm trying to put my words together because I had this conversation with my homie Joe Samba recently, but he's like, basically the thing that you think makes you weird is really the thing that makes you stand out. And honestly, like, especially in music, dude, it's like, it's impossible to stand out in this industry. So you better have something cool,
right?
You
got to stay true to yourself. Never change. I've found myself doing that to try to fit in with certain friends I was doing or hanging out with. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, to me, it didn't feel right. It felt like I was wearing somebody else's skin. And it was like, this is not me. This is not authentic. I want to be authentic and I want to be the best version of myself that I can be.
Do you remember the exact moment it clicked for you?
What?
Like, where you felt like you were hanging around people, like not being your full self, and you were just like, okay, like, hold on, this isn't who I am.
Probably about like 2018. This was 4 years after high school. Everyone's getting on with their life. They're working, getting into relationships, having kids, this and that. And I was just, how do I put it? I'm making up for years. I didn't do a lot of the things a lot of teens do as teens. So like, I'm kind of doing that now, like going out, meeting new people, performing. I wouldn't put in that category, but yes, performing as well. I was one who took Fs in school because I didn't want to stand up in front of the class, whether I did the work or not. But music, I feel, has shown me what I am and who I want to be and what I want to get off with it. I feel a lot. I protect. And I feel like a lot of people in this world don't have that guardian or person in their life to do that. And sometimes songs done that for me. And that's what I kind of want to do for other people.
Yeah. What would you say, like, one of the best moments for you in music has been so far?
So far, I honestly would say right now the friend group I have. I met all of them through Julian, the guitarist that
Julian's
I work with.
The man, dude. I love Julian, dude.
And it's funny too because I met Julian before I knew he was a musician. So
how'd you meet Julian, dude?
I met Julian through a high school friend. We went to a car show. This was back when I was doing photography, so I would just go take photos or whatever. And I met Julian through that. Added him on Facebook, I believe. Found out he played guitar, and I was like, dude, we need to work. I'm like, I did not know you played, and I didn't know you played that well. But yeah, I've met a lot of my friends now through music, and they've kind of given me the outlet to actually express myself with music and outside of music. They're like, we've had certain falling outs, nothing crazy, but I actually had to like stand up for myself, which I tend not to do a lot.
It's not easy to do that.
Not
sometimes
easy. I don't like
too.
conflict at all.
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from it. But the few we've had, it actually like kind of woke me up, and it's like, dude, like do what you want to do, say what you want to say. Like these are your friends. They're not going to hate you for it. They're just hearing you out.
Bro,
they want to know what you're saying.
Communication is the number one thing in all situations. I think wars have literally been started from lack of communication,
Communication and common sense.
Yeah. So
2 C's.
Yeah. My gut says like, if you're in like a situation where most things can be talked out, unless it's like something devastating has been done, I don't think there's any world where it's undoable. But so what gave you the confidence to like stand up for yourself?
Knowing what I wanted, and I didn't want anybody to change it. I have a decent game plan for things outside of music and with music, and it's like, I want to do it my way. It might not be the right way, but like we were talking about earlier, you learn from your mistakes. They make you into who you are, and you look back and reflect on them.
And if it to me, if it talks to your spirit and you think it's the right thing to do, it is the right play. Whether it gets the results that you think it will or not, you're going to learn something from it. You're going to be better because of it. And it's going to end up putting you on the right course anyways.
Right.
The one thing is just like, as long as you keep going, you're going to get to where you want to go. You just got to keep going, dude.
Gotta keep moving.
Yeah. So when you stood up for yourself, how was it received amongst your friends?
I would say they took it well, but honestly shocked, because they've never seen me like that. I don't think a lot of people actually see me like that other than my mom. But I don't, like I said, I don't like a lot of conflict. If it could be explained and just fixed real easy, cool. Sometimes you gotta yell at people.
Yeah. And, I think especially in music, because people have different tastes, people have different views of how things, like at the end of the day, I'm sure you guys all had the same end goal where it's like, you want to elevate, you want to bring things up, and it's like, sometimes you just got to be a solutions guy. Like, don't add to the problem, don't make things worse. You just got to get it done and change it up, dude. So, well, that's good. So now you guys are together, like still working all the time, right?
Yep.
It's like, and from that moment where you like spoke up for yourself, like what's the energy been? It's been good and
been the same, which is what I like, because previous friend groups I've had, we've stopped talking. But it wasn't anything against me. It wasn't anything against them. It was just stuff that had to be said. We're still friends making the music we've been making for the past 3 years.
That's good, dude. And I think, to talk about that, your circle is probably the most important thing, especially in music too, because, it's kind of a balance though, because you don't want people that are like Debbie Downers, like, putting you down saying like, this sucks. You don't want people that are making you feel bad.
Right.
But on the flip side, you also don't want people that are yes men that are always like, yo, this is like selling you everything's great all the time.
Yeah.
When like, cause then it's like you know what I mean? Like as an artist, like, I mean, there are probably artists that like hit like every single time, but like realistically, you want people to be like honest with you, and you'd rather take the honesty than like someone just saying what they think you want to hear. Honesty
is the best policy. I'd rather you tell me the truth than lie to me, and then I go along, try to pursue it or do it, and it makes me look like an ass.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. So what's your process of making music now?
Music. So I have not been recording a lot recently due to my actual outside of music job.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of beats that I have gotten from multiple producers throughout the past 4 or 5 years. And I kind of just sit, listen to them on loop, hum, harmonize to them. Eventually words come out. So I kind of start off with that. I've more now trying to get everything that I have recorded out. I have a lot of music from like 2019, I would say. Unfinished, finished, needs to be mixed, half written, a lot of music though. And I feel like a lot of that has not been heard other than by my own ears. And to me, I'm tired of it because it's the same song over and over. I'm like, I need feedback. I need action or videos for it. So I'm mainly focused this year on releasing and promo. I want to do a lot of more videos, and I want to get on more performances.
Let's go, dude.
I got to break the stage fright.
Yeah. You have a lot of stage fright?
Not as much. I think I'm on like show number 7 or 8 now.
Let's go, dude.
A lot more comfortable. It's more of the moving around instead of just being still up there. But
it's kind of like repetitions, though. It comes with practice. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like it's kind of like working out. You know what I mean? I started working out. My form was terrible when I started. Now my form is not great now, but it is definitely better.
A lot of practice involved. Like even if you see on my Instagram, I'm always singing or doing something on my stories, moving around, dancing around. That's kind of helping me do it because there's nobody there. But I'm trying to get over the fear of doing it in front of a group of people.
Yeah. What are some of your goals for this year? You seem like someone who's probably goal driven.
A little bit. I mainly just want to release. Now that I finally I got over the fear of releasing, I want to just release and push out and connect to as many people as I can.
Can we talk a little bit about the fear of releasing too? Because I'm sure there are artists that are listening to this who probably are in the same, they probably have the catalog stacked in the vault. They've been listening to their songs over and over, but they just don't have the confidence yet to put it out there.
So what my friends have been telling me is like we said earlier, you just got to do it. You gotta do it. I am not right now. I am not one who likes change, and it takes me a very long time to get adjusted to it. But it's been a good amount of time, about say a year and a half. I've been fully comfortable with singing in front of people and releasing stuff. So I'm like, just got to keep the ball going.
Yeah, and it's really good, and you really got to push through because like even me, for someone who's like been releasing records, I have moments where I'm like, what am I doing right now? You know what I mean? Like,
we can't stay in that thought process for too long, though. That is what has gotten me a lot.
It's the death of the artist, dude. Staying in that, like, bro, I've seen it kill careers. You know what I mean? Where it's like, dude, you're sitting on good music. All you got to do is put it out. Like, and there's no such, and the issue that a lot of the artists I talk with, it's like there is no right time. This is why I like your right now thing, because it's like
there is no, and that's what a lot of my friends have been telling me. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Waiting for the right moment. What moment is that? That moment might
like the video I just released. I wanted to release this year or 2024 for summer.
Yeah,
was done. It was ready. The song was ready.
What held you up, dude?
Couldn't do it. I don't know. From what I was told, it was like the biggest like piece of work that I've had so far that was professionally done. And it's doing good so far. I mean, but definitely should have released it earlier. But trial and error, we're still learning.
And you know what I've learned too? You're better off just getting it out there because you're going to be working on the next thing. You know what I mean? And like, this is going to be tough because I'm sure you have thoughts on this, but sometimes it's hard not to be precious about what you create. You know what I mean? It's like you probably, and especially if you're saying this was like the best video you've made today, it's like, like it's so special and important to me. It's like
a little childhood toy. It's like you don't want to let go of it. It doesn't have any use for you, but it's like it's very close to your heart.
But the second you get it out there, it's good because then that could form a life of its own. And realistically, the way music is consumed, it's time to get to the next thing, dude.
It's also a very good weight off your chest. It's like, oh, I finally did it.
It is cathartic. Yeah, dude.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. No, I have songs that are like that too that I've been sitting in the vault for maybe a little bit too long that I probably should get out. But it's like, and sometimes talking about it, like how we're talking about it right now, can really, right now, dude, is really how it can, get out there. Sometimes it really takes a few words of encouragement to get it out there. And that's where having a good circle is important too.
That's what I finally have. I've been looking for that for so long. I've had it in friends, but it wasn't directed towards my passions.
Yeah, and that's hard
it was all about me, but it's like, I support you with what you're doing. Why not support me?
Yeah, and it's, to be honest, it can be hard to find people that are like that too, where it's like, their goals align with yours, and it's tricky sometimes too. And especially when you're like getting into music and like still trying to figure yourself out, at least for me, like, I'm still trying to figure out what does Mike Squires look like in 5 years? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, just putting yourself with people that like want to see you win and like the feeling's mutual. I think that's like the most important thing in music. It also makes the process way more fun.
Yes.
It
does not feel like work all the time.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It shouldn't. Like, the second it becomes like work and miserable, you're cooked, dog. You know what I mean? You really got to figure out a balance of it. But you should also take it very serious and, you know, treat it like a job if you're trying to do it full time. But like, you also got to make it so it's not miserable because you won't last.
Stay in your head.
Yeah.
I have a room in there that I've been renting out for years and years and years, but that's also what's been holding me back.
A lot of the thing too, it's like you need a lot of self-motivation in music. You know what I mean? Because it's like, no one's doing this for you, dude. If you decided right now that you didn't want to drop music, nothing would happen. And like, I'm sure you'd have like your homies, they'd be like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Which is a good thing. But like, even if they were,
I love them for that though.
Yeah.
Call me on my shit, please.
But at the end of the day,
it motivates me.
Yeah. At the end of the day though, what I'm trying to say is like, even if they were knocking on the door, telling you get up and get out, nothing happens until you make the play, dude.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's like shy guys running shy guys ship, you know? So that's like kind of what you'd want to see. And like, you know, just know that at the end of the day that the plays that you make, like land on you, you know what I mean? So that's like kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know where I want to pull this next. Maybe I want to bring it to, you know where I want to bring it to? I want to bring it to like when you started releasing records on all platforms.
Okay.
You know, like what was the feeling once you saw yourself on Spotify and Apple Music and all this for the first time?
I felt good. I felt like I was actually giving people what they wanted, which was me on all platforms, because not a lot of people use SoundCloud a lot. A lot of people are more Spotify, Apple Music based. It's a lot easier. But I had this song called Dash. I recorded it. A friend shot a video for me, mainly for a promo, but it turned out to just be like a little music video for Instagram. But I was like, dude, like, that's it. And the song was pretty like Dash, like the Incredibles. That's what it was kind of named after, the little speedy kid Dash.
Yeah, no, I know Dash.
It's like, got to keep moving forward.
No, I like that too. How did you end up linking with AMG?
AMG, I met back in high school through a best friend of mine, RIP, my best friend Jaji. We were still recording in closets back then.
You and Jaji?
Yes.
Okay.
So I met AMG through Jaji. This was when, I think the first studio I got with him in was Lion's Den, if I'm not mistaken.
Very familiar with Lion's Den. That's where I met AMG, Julian. I met a lot of people at Lion's Den, dude.
That was pretty much when me and Julian started hanging out and making music around that era. Man. But yeah, I met AMG through a friend, and then he was like, yo, like he makes music, he has beats, like he'll help you out. And I'm like, okay. Sent me a few, started talking about music and stuff, what we wanted out of it, and just kept going from there. Yeah. Still one of the main dudes that I get my beats, if not one of my only engineers.
Yeah, how'd you originally connect with Jaji?
Jaji was through school, Skatepark.
Okay.
Calf Pasture Beach, I feel I
know Calf Pasture Beach,
a lot of people have been brought into my life from that beach.
That's sick, dude.
But yeah, we met everything through skateboarding.
So you started making music with Jaji?
Yes, Jaji, a few other artists, Scotty Kodo.
I know Scotty, dude.
His boy True.
Is Scotty previously Scotty French?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, I know Scotty.
Kodo now.
Let's go, dude.
But yeah, we were like the little odd future of McMahon, pretty much. Skateboarding, the music, doing stupid shit, but trying to get something out of it.
Yeah, dude, I love Scotty, dude. I actually saw him recently for the first time in a long time at First Class, dude. But I shot a video for him way back in the day. Yeah, way back with Jay Aviade, if you know who that is.
Was
I don't know Jay Aviade's real name. I know who you're talking.
What song was it? Like The Motion? Was like
it was The Motion, dude. It was.
Z.B. Wilson, Jake. I remember that.
Yeah,
that's still saved on my SoundCloud.
Insane, dude. Yeah, I think I did the cover art for that too, dude. That's mad funny, dude.
I like that though. Like I met all of them back in like 2013, 2014. So like sophomore to junior year, and it's cool to see that all of us are still in the same field. Outdoing that version of ourselves back then. Dude,
you know, there's something to be said about that too, because there's a lot of people I came up with who did music who just no longer are doing it anymore. Yeah. And like, it sucks though too, because it's like, I have like a line in a song coming up, but it's like, all my friends had dreams, now it's just me. Because like, at this point, I just feel like I'm standing alone, just like the only one that's like pushing the ball down the field. And it's like,
I get that sometimes. I have a song with the lyrics like circle getting smaller to the point where it's just me. Where it's like, I feel like I'm the only one trying to get something out of this. It's not the case. You people show it and do it very differently, but it feels like that. And it's like, don't you want to make something out of your talent instead of letting it be hidden?
Amen, brother.
That's what I want. I want the world to see what I have to offer. It's not about the fame or the money. It's about the connection and doing what you love.
Dude, I don't think you can be in this business if you're focused on the fame and the money, because that's not what's going to come first, dude. Like,
it's
that's
a long and very long journey.
Yeah, and it may, like, you can figure out your hustle and get the money to come, but the fame, the side of it, like, you don't even decide that, dude. You could put yourself in the best position possible.
That shit scares me.
Why?
I have people walking up to me now, oh, you're this big time, this, and that. I'm like, no. But it's like, it's cool that people see that, but it's like, there's a lot of stuff that goes in to behind what you don't see.
Yeah,
or
dude.
what you don't hear. Like, I like when certain artists do like the behind the scenes of like their video or like studio sessions, because you don't see that. And it's like it's a side of them you don't get to see through music.
And I think people will connect with the artist more too when they just see like a more human side of things. I don't know if you know my homie Jet Perry.
Yep. We are actually just found out related.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
My uncle's wife, sister. So we are related through marriage, I believe.
That's still fucking sick though, dude.
Small world.
That is fucking, well, Jet was in here the other day, and the cameras don't see what this room looks like. You see what this room looks like. And Jet's like, you should show the people this room. And I'm like, the people are gonna think I'm a psychopath. And then he's like, no, but you just like, it's just part of the process. And I was like, yo, it definitely is. But it kind of goes to what you're saying, where it's like, you know, give them the real look behind the curtain, where it's like, they don't see the nice polish. A lot of
people think it just comes like that. You gotta work.
Yeah, and then I think one thing that I've learned as things have like, you know, progressed in my career, and I'm sure you feel this too, is, bro, I just wish people didn't ask for things all the time, dude. Like, just at least like fake being friends with me for a little bit, dude. Like, some people got like some major balls just like asking for things, dude. But with that being said, I feel like you shouldn't be afraid to ask. You know what I mean? You
definitely don't be afraid, but there's a time and place.
And that's what I'm saying. You also gotta like, so this is one of the biggest things that I have learned in my career, is that it's not what you can do for me. It's what I can do for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, if let's say you and I wanted to work a lot more, like, I wouldn't just ask you for a million things. I just like, what value can I bring to Shy Guy that, you know, and don't even think of it like as like a back and forth, but just like, what can I do for him? It's like, okay, well, maybe he needs beats. I don't know. Maybe he needs content. Maybe he needs. So the point I'm trying to make is like, you just want to provide value before you start asking people for things, you know? So with your music though, like, what's the most important thing to you in like your message, and like, what makes it a song that you'd release versus something that, like, I think what I'm trying to ask is, what gives you the confidence to get to the point where you release a song?
That's a very good question. It's mainly whatever the song is about, because a lot of, like I said, I'm not a very vocal person. Only in music I am, or behind the drums, you could feel and read the energy of how I play or how I'm singing. But whatever I'm feeling at that time, that's kind of what drives the song and the release. It's like, I want this out. I want people to hear it. I want people to relate. I know they can relate. And it's like, give them something to look forward to, or just to help them pass the time.
Yeah. What's something, I feel like you got a funny story, dude. Like, what's a crazy story that has happened? It doesn't even have to be within your music career, but like, just a crazy story that comes to mind that you have. If it was about music, sick. If not.
Crazy story. Okay. Maybe about a year ago, I was coming back from Andy's house. We were over where they do Jerry Springer.
Okay, yeah.
Forgot that street name, but we were
where
over
the
there.
Cube thing is.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So we were at a red light, and all of a sudden this random white car comes zooming by, ran through 2 red lights. And I'm like, okay, typical Friday night in Stanford. And then another car pulls up in front of us and just completely slams on the brake. And he was like, gets out of the car, his girl gets out of the car, hand in their waist. I was like, yo, like, were you just shooting at us? And I'm high as hell with a fat bag of McDonald's on my lap. And I'm just looking at the dude through the window. I'm like, huh? You know, you weren't just shooting at us. My friend had a similar car that looked like the car that ran those lights, so we assumed it was them. And he just stood for a minute, walked around the car, and he's like, all right, y'all have a good night. Get in and leave.
Insane, dude. Yeah.
Random as hell. We didn't see anything on the highway happen, but literally just sitting at a light.
Dog, I would have been terrified, dude. Were you scared?
I was too high to be scared. A lot of people ask me that. I'm like, dude, I was more confused than anything. I'm like,
I probably would have been confused too. You know what I mean? Like, but it's kind of like crazy. And if, let's say hypothetically, you were shooting at them, right? Why get out of the car? You know, you got to keep going.
Why get out of the car and why stand there?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It was very weird, and I honestly did not feel real at first until he actually pulled away.
Yeah.
Me and was with my boy Avi. I looked at him and I was like, yo, was that real?
That's crazy.
And then he looked at me and was like, yeah. And we kind of laughed about it, but we're like, nah, dude, that could have been really serious.
Yeah, dude.
It was random. Like, they literally just pulled right in front of us and stopped. And Avi is a horn hawker.
Horn hawker, someone just slamming on the
horn.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, dude, don't do it. I'm like, we didn't do anything wrong. Like, let's see what's going on. And I'm glad he didn't do it because I probably would have escalated things a lot.
I'm very big on de-escalation, dude.
Yep.
Like,
I'm like, dude, we're good. We ain't doing nothing.
I'm semi-confident that I could talk myself out of most situations. You know what I mean?
I gotta learn that. I'm not it doesn't come to my mind that fast.
Yeah, I feel like it does. But it also depends on who you're dealing with because there are some levels of crazy out there that like, there's just no de-escalation. Like, you know what I mean? If he was tweaking, dog, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you really got a dice roll on this one, dude. Yeah. So that's funny, dude. Well, I'm glad you're okay.
It was weird, man. And it was a good night. So I'm like, okay, I didn't think anything else would happen after that.
What were you doing at Andy's? Like before that escalation?
That we were just kind of jamming.
Oh, nice.
This was before the Sonos sessions had started, so our Fridays were pretty much just jam nights.
Yeah.
If not jam nights, we were trying to structure out tracks to get vocals for.
Yeah, I actually love what they've been doing with like the, so it's almost like a tiny desk kind of thing, but it's cool and like it's exciting when I like, one, I'm finding a lot of new artists that I didn't even know existed, which is really tight. And then two, it's cool when I see artists that I've known just pop up. Like I saw Nick Rose on recently and I'm like, yo, they got people sliding from the 860.
It's getting a lot of, what's the word?
Attention?
There you go. It's getting a lot of attention. Like, somebody hit us up from like New York area and he's like, oh, I kind of do something similar. I like what you're doing, this, and that. And he also has been coming through every other Friday.
Oh, let's go, dude.
But yeah, I've met a lot of artists that I've already known. I've met a lot of more musicians that I didn't know, but it's a nice little collective. Like we have a group chat with like maybe 30 artists / musicians.
Oh, that's sick too.
And you just kind of have the option of like, oh, do you want to work? Let's do this. Let's do that.
I was going to say from like a networking standpoint, it's great, dude. Cause I think like, it's weird because I think on the come up, a lot of artists were a little bit more shy. No pun, like about like working together or like maybe not even shy, like maybe even in some instances like competitive. And like, you know, we talked about this a little bit. You know, this is why I don't like talking before the pod sometimes because I forget like what we spoke about then and what we spoke now. But I think before the pod, we were talking about like, you know, people wouldn't work because of the like numbers and stuff. It's like, that is the wackest reason not to work with somebody. It's like you work with someone because you fuck with them. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, see if you like him as a person. If you like him as a person, you think you guys would make a good song? Make the song, dude.
And it wasn't anything that I was expecting right away. It was just a thought. It's like, I like your music. I like your sound. I could see us working together. Let's work.
Yeah. And then they just were a dickhead?
I mean, I don't hold it against them. People are how they are. They're going to do what they want to do, but it's not about numbers. I mean, it is to an extent, but when you're first starting out and trying to get numbers.
And like, I don't know, like, was the artist like huge? Is this like an A-list star? Hell, like if you...
Local, just like me.
If you're local... Get out of your fucking own way, dude. We're all in the trenches, dude. I don't care. Listen, I don't care. Like, I just don't care. It's like, bro, if you are in the trench, like, we're all in the fucking trenches, dude.
Like, and there's no hate against it. It's like, we all start from the bottom and we're all trying to get out to the light.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that, I have had homies that I've done songs with in the past, but their career has elevated exponentially. Like, they're just like, to the point where, like, you know, I'm grateful for the work that we've done together. You know what I mean? But it's like, dog, you're like a superstar now. It's like, I don't feel comfortable asking anymore because like asking for that is like asking,
Yeah, I feel that.
You know what I mean? So, and you like got to be understand, like people get to different points in their career, and especially when they like sign to a label and they have a huge team involved, it's like it becomes a little bit more complicated than like, yo, just hop on this track.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a level of like, you know, when people do level up and get to that next level, you know, just being happy for them and that. But like, if you're still in the trenches, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, get it, you know, it's like, what are
we're
you
all working a job that we do not want to work to support a dream.
That's what I'm saying, dude. So it's
what
like,
makes you different than me?
and we just gotta little by little level it up together too. Cause I think that's when the best things happen too, where it's like, you know,
Teamwork makes the dream work.
always do. And I'm sure you feel, I know I feel this way with my homies, but it's like with your squad, it's like when one of them has a win, it's almost like a win for you too, because it's like, fuck yeah. Like
We've had that conversation. It's like, dude, it's not you, it's not me, it's not them. It's like, we're trying to do this as a team.
yeah. What's like a win that like someone in your squad has had that you've just been like, oh, that's fucking tight, dude?
I would say my boy Andy. He's been talking about doing this, the Sono sessions for a while, and it's been going good so far. I think there's 9, 10 videos out, and then I think he said he's booked out till about next month.
Let's fucking go, dude. And I got a lot of respect too, because I have a lot of respect for anybody who I'll tell you who I don't have respect for, and then I'll tell you who I do have respect for. Don't have respect for people that say they're going to do something and never do. I got respect for people that say something and then they do it. And not only do they do it, they crush it and do it in a way that gets everyone excited.
Yeah, he's been killing it. I've met more artists that I've met in the past year at that one spot.
Yeah, and it's cool too, because I've never been to I don't think I've ever been to Andy's space, but I know that, you know, the fact that he's using it to bring artists together and like using it for, you know, I'm building out my own studio right now, but it's inspiring to someone like me where it's like, oh, you know, I was kind of telling you before, like I want to have a day where just people come and just are able to like bump their demos. You know what I mean? And just like,
and that's what a lot of people do too. Like after we film and everything, there's like a free jam session, or you could just sit and talk or whatever. But a lot of people like want to show you their music, which is what I like. It's like, I want to hear it. I want to give you feedback, same as that I would want out of my music.
And you can learn a lot from artists too, because I'm sure you talk to artists, hear what works, what doesn't work for them and stuff. What's something that you've learned throughout like all the sessions?
That's a good one too.
I'm trying, dude.
Making me think today. What is the word? What is the word? I guess being open. Open for critiques. Listening to the peers around you, because they have the best interest for you.
It's
like,
so important too, dude.
Yes, they're filming it, but it's your track. They very good convos with the musicians. They know what they want. Slow down the tempo, speed it up, whatever, little pauses, breaks. Like we said earlier, communication.
And you know what? There's a lot of value in what you said, because there are a lot of artists that sometimes can't get out of their own way. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, the people that are advising and giving you advice or like giving you their opinion, they're not saying it because they fucking hate you. They're saying it because they want to see you win. They want to see you get better. So it's like, you know, someone's like, yo, Shy, like, song's great, but this one line, like, you just got to reword it or something. Like, it's not hidden. It's like, and at that point, it's like, you know, it's if you trust the vision, you're like, you could either be like, nah, just let me rock it on this one. And then that's that. Or
I've had a few situations like that.
Yeah.
Where I switched it up and I'm like, I don't like it. Or then I kept it and I'm like, oh, it's okay. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of feedback like that, and I've actually used a lot of it. Yeah,
and I think just being open to it. You know what I mean? I think that's like the most, you know, it's funny. I was in the studio the other day too, and I was tracking like some vocals, and I tracked a line, and one of my homie Doss was like, change it up. And I did it. I changed it up. And I was like, oh, it's cool. And then I got home and I was listening to this. I was like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. I was like, but on the flip side, he's also giving me like tweaks and stuff that I'm like, oh, this is exactly how the song should have been from the jump. You know what I mean? So you kind of pick and choose your battles. But going back to what you said, like being open and like being receptive. Because if you're the stone wall, like, dog, you ain't perfect. No one's perfect, dude.
I would say that would be like one of the main things I've taken. That and respect.
Yeah.
There's a thing we do like when he starts filming for like quiet on set, because like where his room is. So this is in his apartment. So where he's filming is out of his kitchen.
That's bold, dude.
So everyone else who's not involved in the show or the song, whatever, they're all in his hallway. Just crowded. I mean, crowded.
Yeah, I've seen like the behind the scenes videos somewhere, maybe on like Julian's or your story or something.
And a lot of the people were like, I didn't even know like this was an apartment. They think it's a studio space.
Yeah, no, I didn't until
like,
you just said that right now.
Dude lives here. You all leave, he goes to sleep.
That's crazy.
It's cool. Like a lot of respect, and then like the reflection and the communication there.
Respect is probably one of the two things I think are important in music. Respect and reputation. Like to me, those are like the biggest things, because it's like, you know, when you like, for example, like we haven't spoke really that much ever, but like I know through my friends that you have a good reputation because, you know, Melodia and AMG are like, Shy Guy's the man. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Love
okay.
Y'all. Thank you.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it makes me more like, oh, if my guys are saying he's the man, then he must be the man. So we got to get him on the podcast.
I love that people like speak and think of me that highly, because like we were talking about earlier, the insecurities and stuff. I don't see that. So it's cool that it's getting pointed out and noticed.
What would you say your message is to the world? You know, if you had like one thing that people wanted to take away from Shy Guy, what would that be?
That would be, I would think, love. I am a big fanatic for love, being in love, spreading love. And that's honestly what's gotten me to where I've been, the people I've been around, like you just said. So be yourself. Do not change. The right people will come along and the wrong ones will leave.
Yeah, and I think being yourself, I know it's like it's a very popular topic on this podcast.
It's very, very true. I'm like, there's only one you.
Yeah, and the thing is like, you know, you can't fake the funk, dude. It's like some people are meant to lock in and like, you know, be homies, and others just don't connect in that way too. You know what I mean? So it's like being yourself is just going to make you happier in the long run too, because you don't have to adjust yourself to like, oh, this is going to make them happy. Yep. Oh, this is going to...
I do the same thing with my personal life. Like Shy Guy and Kyle are the same person. Who I am on Instagram, who I am here right now, who I am at work, I don't change.
And you know what? People see, I'm telling you, because you know what? I've worked with people in the past. People could see right through it. I had this artist that I worked with a very long time ago who wouldn't do interviews or anything like this because he wasn't himself. You know what I mean? The artist that he portrayed and the person who he was were two different people. So he wasn't even able to do an interview like this because people would be like, yo, you said this in your song, but like, you're not talking like this. You know what I mean? So
that is very true. I've stuck around with that too. A lot of what I say in my music, it may get words, or I might say baby girl to like relate it to something else, but I'm talking about myself or real life situations.
Yeah. So what, like, you know, because your records are so vulnerable, it's like, how are you able to take your situations and, you know, put them in the song? And like, what's the feeling like? Does it...
Sometimes it hurts. There's a lot of dark stuff that I've been through that I've said to people, and it's not who I was at the time. And I go back and think, I'm like, what the hell? But I lost my train of thought on that one.
No, but you know, you said something interesting where you say it's like not who you were at the time. It's like, is it because you thought like you had to like be somebody else basically to like fit in?
Else to fit in or to go along with the situation. It didn't feel like something I could just walk into and be fine with. I had to like either force myself or just tough it out and sit through it.
Do you have an example of you kind of saying something that you're like, why did I say that? I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be better off being myself.
Not really. I try to stay away from a lot of stuff like that for stuff like this. Like if someone calls you out, I could tell you right then and there.
Yeah. There's this famous Lil Tecca. You know who Lil Tecca is? There's a famous Lil Tecca because he's talking about his song Ransom. And in the song, he says like something about going to France. And then in like his genius breakdown, he's like, never been to Paris, never been to France. He's like, and he was talking about like shooting. He's like, nah.
There's
like,
another song where he mentions about Paris with the Kid Leroy, the song Diva.
I ain't gonna lie,
he's like,
I ain't been to France.
Never been. I'm like, hey, he's telling the truth.
Yeah, that's how. Dude. His genius interview is pretty funny though too, where he's like, he's basically going through every single line of his song. He's like, no, I never did that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think because the line in Ransom, he's like, what does he say? He's like, he's like, what about shots turn you to a dancer? Like,
yeah.
He's like, I forget what he says, but he's talking about like shooting at their feet, like making them dance. And he's like, yo, and then his interview, he's like, yo, I don't have any Glock for anybody. Like, I don't,
I was starting to write a song like that. I don't own any guns. I'm never a gun person. I shot a gun couple recently and I was like, yeah, I could use this in a song, but I'm like, no, that's not you.
Yeah, 50 shots at
like,
the range.
It would sound cool and like people would be like, oh yeah, this is shit, but I'm like, it's not me.
Yeah. So, you know, when you're looking for subject matter in your music, it's basically everything that you've lived for the most part.
And I feel like a lot of my music, well, not now, but the majority of it was about like heartbreak or just trying to find love, which doesn't always mean like relationship wise, like could be family, friends. But I feel like that's what I've been going for.
I feel like I relate to that. I feel like I've had my heart broken by more people that are not significant others, like girlfriends or boyfriends, than I have actually.
And those hurt the most.
Oh, dude.
Those hurt the most.
I'm like smiling now to mask the pain.
Yeah.
But no, it's one of the most devastating feelings. You know what I mean? I know that feeling of just like, and there's so many ways that you can lose people, right? Like losing somebody doesn't mean like death. Like it could mean like, you know, it could be a falling out. It could be addiction. It could be, you know, there's a lot of ways that you can like lose people. And, you know, sometimes dealing with those things, it's like, you know, what do? You let time heal it? Like what do you do in those situations, you know?
Well, time will tell. Other than that, I sit and write. Not saying like music per se, but like I sit and write just to get it out of my head, off my chest. And
it's like, I'm sure it's very therapeutic for you too.
Oh yeah. I liked English in school. My last year, senior year, I was in a creative writing class, and I feel like that's what really like got me into music and writing music.
Do you remember one of the first things you wrote?
Not the first thing, but there was something I wrote in middle school in English class. It was pretty much about my heart condition and my life. And I got pulled aside after class, and like my teacher just bawled her eyes out and like hugged me.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, so words, that was like the first time I was like, yo, words really do something.
Yeah, and that's actually, it's kind of a great experience to have early on, like realizing that like, you know, your words are powerful and like you can create something emotional too, you know? Like art's like such a beautiful thing in that way where it's like, dude, even middle school you was able to write something that like touched your teacher's soul to the point where she had an emotional response to it.
And that threw me off. I was like, I thought I was just doing an assignment. It wasn't too like descriptive or deep, but like it opened the book.
Yeah. And it also probably like, especially where you were at in your life too, like being a younger kid, it like, I think that's another thing too, like who it's coming from too, like makes a big difference where it's like,
I feel like at that point in my life, that was when I like first started to change for the better, like maturing wise. It opened that last surgery in 6th grade kind of like opened up my eyes.
In what ways?
Life is precious, man. You may not be here tomorrow. That's where right now comes from too. I wasn't supposed to make it past 5. I just turned 29 a week ago. So it's very weird. And like I've been thrown these curveballs and dealt with them, and they brought me and made me who I am today.
Yeah, dude. And it's like, I just feel, you know, when you have like a heart condition or any situation, like anybody out there, it's like, I think sometimes people really do take life for granted. You know, sometimes I always have like the fact that we exist right now is like the most, right now is the most insane thing. Cause like the likelihood of us existing exactly in this way in this room right now is like an astronomical thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, and sometimes it's hard too, because I feel like people get lost in like the micros where it's like, oh, I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to pay the rent. Got to do this. Got to do this. Cause it's like, yo, you're going to just pay. You're going to go through that cycle over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And you're not going to live, dog. Like you got to live.
That's one of my issues now. That's why I am trying and sticking with music. Like the one hobby I have not let go of, because it keeps me out of that mindset.
Yeah. But the thing is like, you have the awareness to do it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like a lot of these people, like they'll just run through their entire life, hit 65, and that's that, dude. And just like then they're hitting retirement at the plate, like doing the fun things when it's like, you know, old, like I don't see myself as a couch potato at 65, but I don't see myself as like, oh, let's go to Beijing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I see myself as just like, I don't know. I'm not there yet in my life, and hopefully I'll get there, you know? But the point I'm just trying to make is that you really do need to live this life to the fullest. And if you do have a dream, an aspiration, or whatever you got, you just gotta chase it and like put your heart into it and really fucking do it.
Yep. You never know what will come from it. And if you don't try, you honestly will never know.
No, dude. And that's the honest to God truth, dude. And it like kind of goes back to this whole podcast of talking about where it's just like, you know, overcoming the fear of just putting things out, like getting the confidence to get it out there. And it's like, it's not an easy thing, but you will thank yourself if you do it.
Mm-hmm. And you will hate yourself if you don't. I've had those battles with myself plenty of times, work related, music related. It's like, you're not doing what you want to do to better your life, and no one's going to do that but you.
What advice would you have for somebody who is kind of at that place in their life now where they're battling, like, and it may not even be music, but like, you know, battling with taking the step to like chasing their dream?
I'm speaking to them and to me at this point. Do not be afraid. Gotta do it. It's easy to say right here, right now. But it's something that I am trying to get over. You gotta do it. You gotta put that foot in. If not, dive in completely.
What makes you say that though? Like how, like, to me, it's obvious, right? Like, you know, you want to chase your dreams, but like, and you want to not be afraid, but like, what's making you like, how did you have the realization that you had to do this?
My friends and their support. A lot of them have just been pushing me over the past year, 2 years, let's say. But since I started releasing music, all plats, they've been just on it. Like, yo, what are you doing? Let's do this. Let's do that. Like they don't want anything out of it, but they want to help me, which is what I like. It's a family thing. Everything that I do involved in music, one of my friends are involved in it. Whether they're doing the cover art, they're engineering me, they made the beat, they're in the band with me. I like to keep my family close, my friends, because when I make it, or if they make it, we all go.
That's the number one rule, dude. Is that, you know, when someone in your circle wins, it's a win for everybody, dude. And it's like, the thing is, one thing that I've learned is like, you don't want to go through this journey alone, dude.
Right.
It sucks, dude. Some of my best memories are like eating shit, not like literally, but like, you know, eating shit like on the grind with my homies, like not the like cool, like I had a trip where I went to London Fashion Week, but I did it by myself.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
It was fun, but I didn't share it with anybody, dude. So it's like, you know, I could tell you about it. I could tell you, you know, some of the things we did, but it's a lot different if you were there. Like, and I'm sure that's how you feel about the LA for a week too. It's like,
I was gonna bring that up. That song, we went 2023. I came back, wrote the song. Literally just explained what we did on our trip. Last year when we went, filmed for it. Did the same thing, not the same exact, but along with the storyline in the song. But it was cool because my friends were there, and like that will last forever. Whether that song goes big or if it stays where it's at now, that's a memory I have, along with them.
Yeah, you know, my dad has this expression he used to say as I was growing up, and I've just come to love it more as an adult because, you know, things do end and like come to it. But my dad would always say, "It's all over but the memory," you know, and I've always loved that quote too, where it's like, at first I was like, you know, I'm like, dang, I don't want it to be over. You know what I mean? But like, you know, memories are kind of like a beautiful thing to have. And like,
sometimes that's all you have left.
Yeah. And like at the end of the day, like, you know, as you get older and move through your life, dude, like with your homies, like you'll be able to talk about that LA trip forever. And like, that's where I always tell people, it's like, yo, do the thing, you know, like go, who cares about the money? Like take the trip, go.
That was my actual like first trip. That was my first time on a plane.
Oh, insane, dude.
So that's also what made it
How did you feel,
experience. Dude? On Flight?
Well, like the first time going to LA and on a flight.
Flight was not too bad. It honestly was a lot of overthinking. It felt like a train ride to me. Yeah. Only thing I don't like is the foot space.
Yo, you want to know something crazy, dude? I just had like a whole, because at the beginning of this, I asked you, brought up Sammy Adams. Sammy Adams was the first person to buy my flight to LA. Wow. And bro, I cried that entire flight, dude. Yeah. I like literally, I kind of get a little emotional.
That's beautiful.
Well, dude, you know why? Because at that point I've been working like, and I came up from the ashes, dude. You know what I mean? I grinded so hard to like, you know, level up.
Right.
And that was my first time ever going to LA. So I was getting on a tour, but so Sammy, I was shooting a music video with him in Michigan, because I think we were on Lake Michigan or something like that. Somewhere in the Midwest, we were shooting it. We were on some sort of lake shooting this music video, but you know, Sammy's like, how should I book your flight? And he's like, oh, I was like New York to Michigan and then Michigan to LA. Dude, I remember getting on that flight to LA and like the people next to me were just like all like normal. I was like tucked into the corner just crying, dude, because like at that moment it just meant like, cause there's like LA has like this representation around it too. Like, you know, it's where you go like, especially in music, it's like success. There's like, there's a correlation there. So it's like, you know, for me, that was like definitely probably the first I made it moment, but like, I don't know. I was 16, 17. No, I was older than that. I was definitely older than that. I was probably like, you know what? I was like 20, dude, because I wasn't able to drink yet.
Right.
But yeah, just this whole podcast just brought me to that feeling, dude. And I was like, oh, Sammy Adams, flights to LA.
Yep.
I have that experience, dude. But yeah, dude, I want to start taking this to the end zone, dude. What's next for you?
Oh, what is next for me? Just constantly releasing. I want to start working on an EP or an album now that I have a few songs out, and then who have been listening over the past years. There's plenty on SoundCloud, and I feel like they've all kind of showcased where and how I got in music to where I'm at now.
Yeah, the catalog is so important, dude. Like I learned that more recently too, because I've stacked up almost like 100 records on all platforms now. And the other day, like one of my homies, I was talking with him and he's like, well, how's like everything progressed? So I was like, I typically don't like look at the stats like all the time, but I was like, all right, let's go back to 2018. Let me see what it's looking like. And I was like, oh shit, dude. I was like, how did I survive, dude? I was like $80 a month, dude. I was like, oh no, dude. Like, and I'm doing well for myself now. But the point I was just like, and it made me, I got like a little bit of like reassurance from it. Cause I was like, if I was good back then with the $80 a month, whatever I was getting from my royalties, I'm good now. You know what I mean? So, but to your point, building that catalog is so important. And it's like, you don't need like, I think there's a misconception. I think people think they need like these hits, these big songs, but like a lot of records that are doing good end up adding up to like a record that's doing great.
Right.
You know?
That Sam was around when I first started writing and releasing on SoundCloud, and that was one thing he told me, like, build up. Like, you can release every now and then, but build up. And I kind of get that, because where I'm at with music now, I'd rather just have everything in the vault ready to go, and then when it's go time, just release it.
It's good to have a strategy too. You know what I mean? And like, you know, feel like you have like some control over your career where it's like, oh, we got these songs. Cause like, let's say, and I say this to artists, it's like always good to stack up, but it's like, let's say you drop a song and it goes crazy for you. If you have the vault ready to go, you're good. You know what I mean? But if you're like, oh, fuck, dude. Like, all right, let's get to make a record. And then you're like scrambling.
That's where I feel I'm at now too. Like I said, a lot of my music is like real life stuff that I've gone through. And I have not really been going through anything crazy recently to where I haven't really written anything new. But because I have that vault, I've just been going back, picking and choosing, either re-recording or getting stuff mixed and mastered, stuff like that. But it's nice that I could see it all and just I'm able to pick and choose from it.
Yeah, no, it's the truth, dude. Well, I see a lot of good things for you in your future, dude. I just like.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like how you carry yourself. The music's good. I think you're just gonna continue to get better. It seems like you have a great circle around you.
I love my friends, which are some of them are turning into my team.
Yeah,
that will be talked about at another time, but we're in the works.
I'd love to have you back like a year from now, like after this is all worked out for you, because I know it is going to work out for you, and just see where you're at, dude.
Time will tell.
Time will tell, dude. It always does.
Time is your friend, but it is also like one of the biggest enemies.
It's the truth, dude. That's what we could have a whole podcast like, just about that subject.
It gets ugly before it gets better, but you got to put in that time. You'll be broke. You'll have nothing. But you got to stick with it. God's by you and just hope for the best.
I agree, dude. Now, if people want to connect with you or find you, how could they?
I am on all social Yeah, all social medias at Young Shy Guy, YUNG Shy Guy. And then you could also find me on all streaming platforms at Young Shy Guy.
Let's go, dude. I appreciate you coming on the pod, dude.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast.
No, it was a great pod, dude. The first one at my studio, dude.
First time in the studio, first podcast in your studio, and my first podcast ever.
A lot of firsts, too. And
Yep.
Yeah, only a minor hiccup in the audio.
Right. But we bounced back.
Yeah, it's all about the bounce back, dude. It's not how you get knocked down. It's how you get back up.
You gotta get back up.
Yeah, my guy. Damn, my guy, Shy Guy, dude.
Right now.